Hey Sean, I've decided to write, produce, direct, and act in a movie. How? I have no idea. And since it's unlikely to occur, I prefer to live in my cloud of disbelief. Below is the outline of the story. I'm the main character. I'll try and use the first person present tense to describe the events, but will probably fail. The story is fiction, of course, but based on possible realities within our lifetime, at least yours. I've not decided the order of events in the movie. Below is a rough idea, but almost any order could work. For me, semi-chronological is easier to write and envision. This is more of a theoretical outline of the movie than a treatment, which I have no idea how to write. As always, Skype me with questions. And as always, I don't apologize for the breaks. And as you know, I'm too fucking lazy to edit them out, so. Alright. 1. The starring role, my role, is the son of a dictator in some nondescript Asian country, but not North Korea. I'm envisioning a more tropical country like Indonesia to film the movie, maybe the Java province, but I also like the idea of an island environment. But one single big island, not thousands like the Philippines or Japan. 2. Regardless, the audience will likely associate this scenario with Kim Jong-un anyways, saving me significant foreshadowing. 3. I'm a bastard son, which is a tired plotline in movies, but needed to explain my whiteness. I'm half Asian, half white. My mother is some unknown woman and does not play a role in the movie or plotline. I'll use makeup and contact lenses in the role, old school acting, no facial CGI. Maybe the rest of the movie will be CGI, or maybe I'll only hire porn stars as the other actors. The story is the same regardless of my fictional family heritage. 4. Sex sells in movies, so the dictator, my father in the movie, will be addicted to sex, or at least a man who's never refused sex by his wife or mistress or nearly anyone he desires, if they wish to continue living. Typical dictator behavior, nothing original. 5. The movie will open with my father explaining his recent terminal cancer diagnosis to our large family. Another cliche, but again saves me, the writer, time, and almost everyone on the planet has been affected by cancer, in one way or the other. His real wife and all my stepmoms pretend to care, they don't. 6. The timeline begins as my father's nearly 100 and I'm 55. Throughout the movie I only wear black t-shirts, easier to film, no wardrobe changes. 7. I'm in a wheelchair, not paralyzed, but disfigured and without the use of my hands in any traditional fashion. The hands look normal but do not function. My condition was the result of a motorcycle accident in my teen years. My father instantly banned motorcycles in our country. He's a rash man, quick to decide, and never reversing a decision. At some point in the movie, a flashback occurs showing my father flying in medical experts from around the world to fix me. A scene will show them arriving in a fleet of our private jets, all painted blue, the royal family color, but none can solve my condition. 9. I intend to play multiple roles in the film, but I will not play my father's. However, I will also play Mike, my only companion. It's my first movie, so why act multiple roles? More money for me. 10. Mike is a computer geek, a nerd introduced to me by Elon Musk. Elon was hired by my father to see if his Neuralink technology could give me a new lease on life, but it failed. However, Mike and I became friends in the process, and I convinced him to leave Elon and his projects to work with me as my assistant, my hands. If you're wondering why a world-class technology expert would leave Elon's organization to work for the disabled son of a dictator, be patient, I'm getting there. For now, suspend any disbelief. At some point in the movie, Mike will make sense. 11. Most of my scenes in the movie are Mike and I alone. I'm discussing my plans for total domination of my country and then the world. There's no gay vibe between Mike and I, not because I'm a homophobic writer, but because as an actor it's too weird to play two characters attracted to each other. It's a mental self-incest greater than my acting ability can manage. Maybe a better actor like Jim Carrey could pull it off, but he's too big, tall, and goofy looking to play half Asian. And I'm too lazy to direct someone else, when I could just give myself instructions in my head, perform the scene, and then decide internally if I'm happy with the outcome. I'm not sure how directors deal with actors they need to speak to. I'm starting to understand why Ricky Gervais writes, directs, and stars in his production. 12. As mentioned earlier, Dad is a sex-crazed dictator, and our home, our estate, our main residence is littered with his offspring. He was determined to keep his DNA on the planet. Unfortunately, due to the quantity of lovers and children he produced and the number of years he continued to impregnate the women he brought home to live with us, I can't tell who's a stepmom and who's a step-sibling. I solved this problem by ignoring them all and staying in my lair with Mike. I haven't seen most of them for years. In my mind, they don't exist. Dad has given me the kingdom, not the family. My country, my choice. In the movie, though, we'll need hundreds of Asian extras in as many flavors as possible. All attractive, of course. Dictators only drink from the top shelf, and my father didn't make ugly babies. I think that covers the basics, Sean. I have no idea how to provide all this background information cinematically, but I guess that will be the challenge. Hopefully someone smarter can figure out how to show and tell points 1 to 12. 13. After the movie introduces the above scenario, my father dies and everything he once controlled, I now control. Everything. 14. I begin implementing my plan to become the most famous dictator ever at any cost. 15. I evict my entire family from the royal properties. They are thrown on their asses, to be precise. But I give each of my father's wives, concubines, prostitutes, and whatever else he stuck his royal wand into that produced a child of some sort, a house. An average house they own outright in an average neighborhood throughout our nation, while I turn it into my nation. They are free to do with it as they please, sell it, rent it, it doesn't matter to me. But if they attempt to contact me again for any reason, especially money, they'll be publicly executed. 16. Mike, who's been in contact with Elon Musk since Starlink satellite 16. Mike, who's been in contact with Elon Musk since Starlink satellite internet launched, initiates a countrywide installation of their equipment. Every corner of our nation will have free wireless internet thanks to me, the new dictator, the lazy dictator. 17. I then open the cell phone market to all providers except Huawei, our previous exclusive provider. The entire population already knew the phones were compromised by the Chinese and were basically spy devices for the CCP and Dad. My father could listen to almost anyone's phone conversation, and he did, often. He was obsessed. 18. Not all of my family believes my previous declaration. Those who do not are executed publicly. The graphic video is sent over the newly functioning Musk Starlink network to all my citizens. 19. Stage 1 of my plan is to maintain or increase the current level of fear by showing every citizen who's boss. My father was an angry tyrant, but I'm a lazy tyrant. If I put a peasant's mother in jail, who cares? She's only one of thousands my father already put behind bars. But if I put my stepmothers there, the entire nation knows I mean business. I don't put my stepmothers in jail, though. I publicly kill the first batch when they ask for money. I'm never contacted again by a family member. 20. I then free all the criminals in jail for every crime except rape, murder, or any sexual offense involving children. I deal with those convicts later. 21. I close my father's spy agency. I'm not interested in listening to thousands of phone conversations in my spare time. The former spies, technical and admin staff are tasked to find ways to reintroduce the criminals I freed, the same ones they helped to imprison. The new temporary organization finds homes, jobs, and medical support for any ex-con who asks. I then provide a universal income to all ex-cons. Their debt to society is paid, and most likely they are in jail because my father didn't like them, not for any horrific crime. 22. Without spies or bug Chinese phones, my country quickly embraces technology like the free world. iPhones are the range, and keeping up with the Joneses is maintaining the market. 23. I issue a phone check to every citizen with a certain income or less, what Mike and I believe to be the cutoff between the haves and the have-nots, those with or without phones. The amount is enough to cover a cell phone for every individual in their family. They can choose to buy phones or use the money for any other purpose. I don't care. 24. My plan works. Within a year, almost every person in my country is using a cell phone. Over 80% are using Musk's Starlink system to its full potential. I'm erasing my father's legacy and implementing mine. Perceived freedom. 25. I then incarcerate without trial a Catholic priest. Why? During construction, my father bugged every confessional, rectory, or religious building in our nation to feed his dirty voyeurism compulsion. I used the ex-agents to analyze and compare the audio transcripts from the confessionals to the transcripts from the priest's rectory and discovered it's clear. The priest not only gossiped about the confessions, many are sex perverts, like my father. 26. I let the remaining prisoners deal with the priests. I release all prison guards and let my father's former spies maintain the facility as they see fit. 27. Mike and I then sit back for a while and let the dust settle. 28. 1 year later. Half the world believes I'm worse than my father ever was, and the other half believe I'm a humanitarian who brought the internet to the people of my nation and just need time to implement more reforms. Both are incorrect. '29. Mike built an app so I can address the nation directly. At first, the public is wary, but Elon Musk's experts and Apple once again ensure the app is safe. It's only feedback form linked to Gmail account. What harm can it do? I know this is a long description, Sean, or maybe it is. I'm not really sure. I've never tried to explain a move in a single instance before. I'll attempt to speed up the action. 30. There are rumblings about democracy and free elections, but my father's army, maintains control of the country. 31. In secret, the army is being disbanded. They maintain a public presence, but even before my father's death, they were mostly a show army, used to control our population, not protect us from neighboring threats. 32. I then begin my master plan to appear in the Joe Rogan podcast. 33. Step 1. I reveal to the world that I did not kill my stepmothers or any relatives, it was only film fakery. I show the world the technology behind the fake execution. I still don't give my stepmothers money. Many write books about our family. They retire off the income. Not that they ever worked. The world cannot get enough gossip. I explain why we fake the deaths and the population accepts my explanation. 34. I encourage all my citizens to send me anonymous complaints about the country through the app Mike developed. Once again, the phone companies ensure that Mike and their phones are safe and secure. Citizens begin sending me their thoughts about my country. 35. Mike and I document all our conversations on video, preparing for the Joe Rogan podcast and all his inevitable questions. 35. Mike and I document all our conversations on video, preparing for the Joe Rogan podcast and his inevitable questions. 36. I legalize all drugs. Many existing drug users die from overdoses. Imported drugs are stopped by the Army, one of their few remaining functions. Chemists are free to synthesize any mind-altering chemical they choose. Farmers or citizens are free to grow cannabis or other botanicals in our landscape. They do. The ingenuity is incredible. Joe Rogan notices. 37. COVID hits my nation, but since we are primarily banana, plantain farmers with no large cities, we are only moderately affected. The percentage of deaths equals our unemployment rate. Two cancel each other out. 38. With internet and phones in nearly every citizen's pocket, I ordered the teachers to build a new nationwide internet school. The curriculum based on world facts. If 80% or more of the world believes it, we teach it, for educational purposes only. 39. I release all the evidence against the Catholic Church and their employees to my citizens. They spread it around the world via the internet. The corruption is undeniable. Thousands of hours of phone conversations with the Vatican are documented. Worldwide, the entire organization collapses. The Pope is gone. The Catholic Church is dead. 40. In my country, all the past money accepted as donations by the church is confiscated, and the religious buildings are converted into multi-family apartments and given to the homeless in my nation. And I assume the spying device is taken out. The world follows, and soon Catholic churches are homing drug addicts instead of parishioners who listen to a preacher tell them to pray for the end to the drug crisis. I do not ban religion. I encourage free thought and choice, except the Catholics. They are history. Fuck them. Joe Rogan notices. 41. All the remaining prisoners are reformed and released, even the former Catholic priests. The world is now baffled how I accomplished this feat, especially Joe Rogan, but I refuse to elaborate. Every released prisoner is free to speak to the media or tell their story, but they don't. They all remain silent. 42. The prisons are converted to safe injection living units, a place where the few remaining addicts in the nation can safely maintain their habit until cured. Many former prisoners uncomfortable with full freedom remain and work at the facility counseling the addicts. A new type of rehab is formed, no 12 steps, named always anonymously, so AA still applies. Guaranteed to be anonymous via an app, written by Mike. Voices and faces are automatically concealed to ensure privacy. Any mentions of a user's location or phone number or email address or any attempt to contact an AA member in person is blocked by the software. Anonymous is anonymous in Mike's app. A universal translator will automatically convert most languages in the world, live, yes, like on Star Trek, but also used to preserve anonymity. Volunteers are available 24 hours a day. Those who are cured often volunteer the most hours back into the system. Some don't. Their choice. No obligation to pay it forward or back. 43. 43. Global rumors spread about COVID being transmitted through the food chain, and specifically bananas. This scares the nation as it's our only export, and although I'm rich beyond imagination, most citizens' income is derived through the bananas trade. Luckily, scientists find our bananas are immune to COVID. Instantly, our product is the only choice worldwide. All other banana productions around the world are shut down. Only our system remains. Our bananas are organic because my father never allowed pesticides into our nation. He believed it caused infertility. In addition, because my father hated conformity, our banana farms are more like forests, primarily bananas, but mixed with other natural occurring species. In addition, because my father hated conformity, our banana farms are more like forests, primarily bananas, but mixed with other natural occurring species. 44. My nation, I now possess a worldwide banana monopoly. The market price skyrockets. Wealth is shared amongst the population. To impress Joe Rogan, I reformed my father's commercial banana operations with paid employees to micro suppliers. Any citizen can go into the forest farms and harvest bananas for cash, but only with traditional non-automated means. My father disliked tractors. All of my changes in all the changes in my nation are announced through my app, which is now receiving thousands of anonymous complaints daily. It's fully embraced nationwide. The app is a picture of my face. The app icon is a picture of my face. In reality, the app turns your phone into the most sophisticated spy device the world has ever seen, but only Mike and I know. 46. I shut down all daycares as families are, or could be, financially independent from their banana sales. The yellow fruit becomes our currency, the yellow standard. It only takes one day of collecting bananas in the forest to support the entire family. Daycares were being used as activity centers for the children instead of the only option, or last resort, for the parents. Unacceptable in my nation. It's finally a flashback in the movie shown, and I'm shown talking to Steve Jobs. Before his death, my father flew me in with all his Apple products for me to use, with Mike's assistance. 47. Joe Rogan starts calling me the benevolent dictator. He's unaware of my plans. 48. A montage is shown in the movie where Mike is hacking the Starlink satellite data, not only from our nation but worldwide. Mike is seething, angry at Elon Musk, and yells at the screen while he hacks. Fuck you, Muskie. I thought you were my friend. You think you're so fucking special, Mr. Space fucking X. Wait until I show you the world how weak your encryption is, asshole. I'll ruin you, motherfucker. How dare you criticize my code when I work for you at Tesla. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Or I guess it was acted to be a little more aggressive. Fuck you, Muskie. I thought you were my friend. You think you're so fucking special, Mr. Space fucking X? Wait until I show the world how weak your encryption is, asshole. I'll ruin you, motherfucker. How dare you criticize my code when I work for you at Tesla. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. The computer screens are dripping with saliva and Mike loses his mind. 49. Before I reveal my evil plan to steal Starlink's data via Mike's angry code, Musk uses my country as a flagship example of his Starlink technology. In reality, Starlink works flawlessly, and not a single person from my country complains about the internet. They complain about everything else, but not the internet. Other countries, non-dictatorships, follow suit and embrace Musk like a god who's saving humanity. They are unaware Mike has hacked the entire Starlink network, and they are unaware that since the installation of Starlink in my country, nearly all communications recorded in their encrypted state. Past, present, and future data will all be available to me at my leisure once Mike finishes his hacking software. Then our servers will begin to decode every piece of internet data we secretly recorded and stored in thousands of hard drives in several underground server farms, my personal Dropbox for the nation's data. 50. Education with our new teacher-driven curriculum is delivered at home through Starlink. Schools will be repurposed. In the movie, show large two-way LED screens in every home. Nothing futuristic, something that can be picked up at Best Buy today. Schools are converted into community centers for their former students. Attendance is not required. I declare education a right, not a requirement. Be smart, dumb, or indifferent. I don't care. Free will. But if you need money, don't ask me. Pick bananas. My plans to be invited on the Joe Rogan podcast proceeds. I'm quickly going from being the most hated man in the country for killing my mother on TV to the most loved for giving the nation free internet and reforming the educational system. 51. Many ex-cons become conflict counselors after self-rehabilitation via the Always Anonymously app. I'll find an easier word. 52. My country is basically the first with a significant universal income if you're willing to pick up a few bananas. One weekly walk in the forest collecting freshly fallen bananas earns a citizen enough to stock their home with all the modern conveniences. Anyone who collects bananas can become rich in a year or less. The citizen chooses free will. Some people pick bananas for their neighbors or for family members who need assistance. 2 days picking supports 2 families for a week. Some people use the extra money to buy Tesla vehicles. Used to working 6 days a week, picking bananas. Former employees clean up financially. Many retire. Any bananas not picked up rot in the ground and become fertilizer. 53. My plan is going exceedingly well. I end all direct imports from communist countries and force all my citizens to purchase through Amazon. They have free will on how and when to make money, but I still dictate how that money enters or leaves the country. No one complains. Half the country is using Amazon anyways. 54. I invite Jeff Bezos to build a network of warehouses and implement a delivery system like designed. 55. The Army no longer searches imports for contraband. Our locally grown organic weed and multitude of psychedelic drugs are now preferred by the population over risky fentanyl imports from China anyways. We begin exporting our product to other countries who have decriminalized. We offer to send our synthetic heroin to Vancouver to help their drug problem, and they refuse. And Nasha, I suspect you see where this is headed based on our conversations about the imitation game. Or maybe you gave up reading pages ago. I don't know. But I'll continue anyways. In for a penny. $56. Mike's Amazon delivery system is ingenious. The vans are loaded last in, first out for the deliveries. The vans are not filled to capacity. An auto-adjusting false wall splits the front and the back of the van. At each drop, the driver delivers the order package and then picks up the customer's bananas, if they collected any since the last order. However, since Amazon is in the area daily for deliveries, bananas can be picked up anytime. The technology in the truck weighs the bananas and instantly pays the customer, who is now the microsupplier, in Bitcoin, which residents can convert into any currency they choose. I receive no commission or percentage. At the end of the deliveries, the trucks are emptied of bananas, which are sent out of the country either on ships or on my family's personal fleet of luxury planes, which are converted into cargo carriers. The rich pay premium price for our bananas. Daily, the vans are washed out to keep the banana smell to a minimum, but in my country, it's welcome. Residents are not required to be home for banana pickup. The bananas are left out in specifically designed containers, similar to North American recycling bins, but spider-free because some of the drivers were complaining. Each container is linked to Starlink and informs Amazon drivers when bananas are available for collection near their current location. The containers are not locked or secured. No one in my country steals another man's bananas. 57. Everyone in the country is basically happening. Everyone in the country is basically happy. No one is forced to confess their sins to a creepy pedophile priest. If they choose, they can pray to a god, any god or gods. They can pray to me if they like, but they don't. They continue to send me complaints through the app, which I don't read directly. Property crime is nearly non-existent, but isn't nearly non-existent. Everyone has as much as they need from banana walks, but domestic abuse still exists. And then shit hits the fan, Sean. 58. I announced Mike has cracked the Starlink encryption with the newly developed quantum computer which Apple allowed Mike access to in its off hours. Idiots. 59. I personally created a video, the first in decades, explaining how Mike broke the encryption and how I repurposed all my father's radio listening devices into Starlink data collection devices. If a radio wave is sent or received in my country, I probably captured it. I'm not better than my father. I'm lazy. The lazy dictator. 60. Instantly, personal data is no longer trusted over Starlink. No other internet service is available. Since my population is now addicted to receiving everything by Amazon, they are forced to use Starlink to feed their addiction. Amazon products keep flowing in and the bananas keep flowing out. 61. Elon Musk is outraged, but Mike is finally happy. In the movie, Mike smiles deviously and gives Elon the finger in a YouTube video tirade that receives 22 million views. 62. Joe Rogan is confused as fuck. He promoted my country as the next great human experiment, and now he calls me Hitler. 63. I declare my intentions on my app, which now cannot be removed from phones, thanks to Mike's coding ability and Apple's inability to understand his code. The app is automatically renamed bullshit on every device. 64. Throughout the last several years, doctors have finally restored some 64. Throughout the last several years, doctors have finally restored some use of my hands, but I'm still stuck in a wheelchair. Mike and I create a video explaining the true purpose of my app, to spy. We show everything possible to collect on the phone, and everything we collected, it's the same. If the phone had a sensor, we collected the data, almost continually. 65. The country is mortified, the world is shocked. They trusted Elon and Apple. If some crazy dictator's assistant can break their system, who else will? Apple and Starlink stock plummets. I buy as much as possible with my inheritance, my father's old-fashioned banana money. 66. Some people begin destroying their phones to stop the spying, but others are too addicted to Amazon, Netflix, and the large quantities of free porn delivered by Starlink. They are hooked, addicted. Inexpensive weed didn't help. 67. On June 16th, as the nation is back to my father's era of constant speculation about who said what, when, and to whom, every phone in the nation displays a message. The bullshit app is installed on this phone and cannot be removed. Destroy the phone to destroy the app, or use the app to destroy your need for a phone. 68. In the movie, have a montage of everyone looking confused and internally saying, what the fuck? Then, as the system prepares to throw his phone into his new Amazon garbage disposal, it speaks. Are you sure you want to destroy me before knowing my purpose? 69. The following letter is displayed on everyone's phone at 4:20. And I think I'm going to